Welcome back for another unboxing of a prototype hitting crowdfunding really soon, and this time I'm very excited to open the box together with you of the advanced prototype of World Order, Race for Global Hegemony. This game is coming on crowdfunding on Kickstarter. I'm going to add a link in the description of the video below so you can find out more, get notified once the campaign launches, which is really soon. And it's a game from the team and the designers of another fantastic game from Hegemonic Project Games, which is Hegemony Lead Your Class to Victory. We love this game. We presented it here in the channel. It's a fantastic game. It has won numerous amounts of awards and recommendations for a good reason. So as you can understand, the hype radar is really high with this one. We're really excited to see this on crowdfunding. I had the opportunity, I have to admit, to play this on Tabletopia, and I really loved it. We're talking about a fantastic game design. It's a gem. I'm sure a ton of people are going to be very excited about it. So let's open together the box, see the components of the advanced prototype. Keep in mind that everything you see in front of you, it's prototype material. The game is for 2 to 4 players. I know there is a solo already in development, in advanced development, that takes around 90 to 120 minutes overall for the game, ages 14 and up, and weight 3.2 out of 5. The game is designed by Evangelis Bagiartakis and Varnavas Timotheou, and the publisher, as mentioned, is Hegemonic Project Games. It falls under the categories of economic games, educational games with political vibes and character. The main mechanisms used are area majority influence, deck building. It has hand management, multi-use cards, and variable player powers. The theme is very obvious: World Order. The year is 2010, and the world has drastically started changing. While the once influence of the United States is beginning to wane, other major powers are eagerly stepping onto the stage, ready to claim the piece of the geopolitical pie. In the East, Beijing is rising to power to become a global powerhouse. Simultaneously, Moscow is entangled in the intricate chess game with Washington, ready to counter its every move. And amidst there are difficult waters to navigate for European Union, which is trying to carve out its identity and role in the international stage. The world is undergoing a drastic shift, while power is being redistributed on a global scale. But who will make the lead, and who will take the lead in this rapidly changing world order? The board game World Order simulates modern international relations, with players taking control of one of the 4 dominant global powers of 2010, the United States of America, the People's Republic of China, the Russian Federation, and the European Union. Utilize your diplomatic power, economic strength, and military might to expand your influence across the globe, form regional alliances, entice other nations through clever economic dependencies, or become the military juggernaut that no one dares to mess with. World Order blends academic theories with thrilling gameplay, creating a never-before-seen experience of international relations. Join the fight and show the other powers that the new era is dawning. So let's dive immediately into the contents of the prototype. I like the cover. It brings you in perspective right away. This high-level meeting of the representatives of the major powers, taking place with press in the corner, and discussions seem to be pretty tense already. Okay. Again, keep in mind that this is a prototype, so I don't know if the back of the box is going to stay the same. This is a relatively tall box. I'm not sure if the final production has the same materials, but focusing on the prototype, you can already see that a lot of thought has been given. There is a sturdy box with nice matte print. Okay, and as usual, yes, I'm very excited about that. As usual, the same with Hegemony Lead Your Class to Victory. The company has, something educational for us to read. This is an introduction of concepts introducing international relations from the authors. You can see them there for World Order, and it's a really interesting booklet where you can find all sorts of information and background about the international relations, the geopolitical, games being played, diplomatic and non-diplomatic relations between the different powerhouses. So, as you can see, besides the nice illustration. There is a lot of knowledge in here. So we've seen that with hegemony. We also see it here, and this really makes a signature for this publisher. I really like what they're doing, not just giving a game. They have game which is a realistic game. It has background, it has concepts and real terms and real things that happen in real life and dictate the relations on international level. Okay, so here the major powers described, explained, the background given, the history, and in depth for each of those, as you can see. So, wow, you never expect that, but you always appreciate it. So many thanks for providing this. I suppose this is going to be some kind of stretch goal or unlock in the core box, so that's why it's already there. Okay, the rulebook is have an electronic version of the rulebook, so you won't see the rulebook now, but it's already being finalized. So let's see, first of all, let's unfold the game board. And before getting everything out, I want to highlight that the game comes with a nice insert that has the main board, the player boards, and then, you know, besides the tokens, the place for coins, for tokens, for bases and economic investment tokens, and all the cards. So everything will be in its place once stored, as you can see. And this is fantastic. Okay, this is what I would expect from a modern publisher nowadays as a standard. Right, so first of all we have the board. The board is thick cardboard, as you can see, great quality. I like the fact that it's simple but very informative. It has the world map, as you can see. It has the different regions and boxes, more on that later, and it has a matte print, as you can see, which is good because you don't have glance from across the table. Right, so let's put the main board there. And before going into more detail, just to highlight a bit on the main board, I'm going to follow with a separate video on how the game plays to explain the concepts of the game and share my opinion. I already have some good impression of how the game plays. I already played it on Tabletopia. I'm going to put a couple of more games under the belt. By the time that you'll see the next video, this is going to already have happened. That means that you're going to see also my first impressions about the game. But already I'm very excited about the game. It has a tremendous thematic inhersion. There is a very, very high thematic way of blending the mechanics with the theme of the game. So you can see here that the different areas, there is also a continuous fight about to gain influence and place influence on the different regions. Okay, there's the cards offered at the bottom from the countries that they can you can influence and gain influence for. So let's see the rest of the components before going into details. So we have the 4-player board. So these are dual layered thick cardboard, recessed, which is really nice, so you can track both your production in each of the for oil, for ore, for food, and then you have a secondary production for mobile phone and devices, for briefcases. This is diplomacy and military tanks, okay, military strength. So all these are produced, and here's the amount that you keep at the bottom. Prosperity is also really nice. If you can, at the end of the round, you can exchange the amount of devices or mobile phones, whatever, to your people. You're going to earn victory points and coins. This is the icon of the coins. Also, there is asymmetry. For example, you can see that there is a lot of oil production and food production in Russia, but for example, it has different strengths and weaknesses. United States starts really, really strong, but they also have a penalty to pay. European Union has a lot of production in diplomatic relations, but low production on oil, so it depends on other countries, and somehow in between China as well. So first of all, color coded, dual layered, already non-symmetric, okay, and great quality components for the boards and for the player boards. The next thing I want to show are the components. It's played in their own colors, so green, yellow for European Union, red for China, a gray or white I should say, for Russia, and blue for United States, have the cubes that you use to populate and show influence in the different regions. It's done in a fantastic way, a really fantastic way. Then you have the tanks which you produce, and you have to mobilize to place them around the globe. And these again are for the different player colors. They stack really nice, the wooden components, so great quality there. This is not a war game, so there's no direct, it's a way of inflicting negative points, losing points, if someone has military presence over you in a region. Okay, so a lot of people get confused because they see the tanks and they think that it's you know, battling each other. This is a game about geopolitics, and it's a different type of game, and don't get misguided from what you see. Once you play the game, of course, you understand directly. So these are the custom tokens that they go. Let's take European Union, because we are located in EU. It doesn't mean I have to play EU. Just so here's how you track how many you have accumulated in terms of diplomacy, mobile phones, or briefcases, food, and oil. Okay, and this here with a marker, you track how many you produce. The color coded on are where you start. Okay, and this is how many you produced respectively. Right, so just to give you a brief overview. We have baggies. Okay, we have the markers. One is for the prestige points or victory points around the board, and another one is for the prosperity, which is tracked here with the cylinder. Or anyway, we have these cylinders, which is the focus. So depending on the focus, and this is a fantastic aspect of the game, more on that later when I'm going to explain how the game plays. You get different reactivation of cards, different amount of resources or production, etc. if you have domestic focus, diplomatic focus, or military focus, and you have to really adjust on what's going on the game. The game is it's not complex in terms of rules, but it has a lot of depth from interaction, player interaction, and things you can do in during the course of the game. Okay. And the last thing I want to show are the cards, which we're going to. Okay, this is nice cardstock, clean and finish. Great. Okay, great. I mean, I would buy even the prototype. Right? Just mentioning, I would even buy the prototype. It's fantastic quality. As it is. I mean. Now we have the player aids on large dual layer. Dual-sided, double printed I should say, one for China, one for EU, one for Russia, and one for the States. They also capture both the actions, okay, and you know, you can have diplomatic actions, you can have military actions, you can have domestic actions, and this color coded goes on the cards also, economic actions. And you can also have here the round overview. You have the preparation phase, the action phase, and the aftermath. And here is some specific overstretch as a penalty for US specifically, which you have to balance, and the general overview and player aid for each of the countries. So really nice and handy player aid. I've seen it also on Tabletopia. Now, that being said, we have a punch board, two punch boards for. So these are linen finish tokens, great quality, different denominations of 20, 10, 5, and 1. Okay, so essentially these are the coins of the game, and everything seems to come out of the punch board relatively easy, with no effort at all. That means great production already in place from the factory. Okay, we have the flags which go here for the turn order, and we have also the coins for denomination of 1. Most probably there will be things unlocked. I know there is also some expansions. I don't know what's going to be revealed right away, what's going to be revealed or progressively through the campaign. I know there is a solo already in development, advanced development. And these are, there are 2 scorings at the end of the 3rd round and at the end of the 6th round. More on that later when I explain the game, and depending on who has the more countries on his side, the more military and the more coins, they're going to score the respective amount of points at in the middle of the game and at the end of the game also, on top of the rest. Okay, some final coins on the 2nd punch board. The system is relatively simple, how you can, but the multi-use cards, the way that everything connects with everything else, it's amazing. I mean, the game has a fantastic way of, without asking players to remember details, to go really deep in terms of gameplay, in terms of strategy, in terms of planning. And that's a sign of a great game in my book, if you ask me. So the red one, these are bases, because you establish military bases in different countries, okay, which gives you bonuses. And these are economical investments. You can also invest in different countries and also gain back at the end of the round profit out of your investments. Cool. Now, so these are the tokens and the punch boards of the game. So the last thing I want to show you are the cards. So let me take everything out of the plastic. I'm so excited about the game for more people to discover it. I'm really convinced this is going to be a massive hit. I loved Hegemony, Lead Your Class to Victory. It's an amazing game, so asymmetric, so tied to reality and real concepts, and such great gameplay. But I have to tell you right ahead, I think this is going to be loved even better, at least for me. Don't get me wrong. If you've seen my previous videos, you know that I loved the first game of the company, and it's an amazing design, and kudos, fantastic game, really enjoy it every single time. But I can get this one, I can see this one being on the table much easier and many more times, more frequently I should say, than any other game. Definitely. Right, okay, so let's see the cards. First of all, we have this, each country has 2 special cards, or actually it starts with 2, they have more, and these are very powerful abilities that instead of taking an action, you discard the card and you can flip it during the course of the game and gain this benefit. And these are also, that's a great thing of the game, besides the nice art, these are also thematic actions that I'm not going to go into detail now, but they're linked really tightly with the history and the dynamics of each power, each side, each country. Okay, where you say art is not final, of course it's not final, but already you can see this is amazing art. I love what I see. Expansion in the South China Sea, rapid industrialization, rise of the middle class, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, you see, arms export, new energy markets, cyber attacks, private military corporations, and collective security treaty organization. So great art. Again, I will explain how the game works, but you start with 2 of those, and you can use them as one-time bonus during the course of the game. Great gameplay. Okay, this is the main deck of the cards. These are the cards that you use. You have your starting cards, and then there is the deck building aspect. But before we go there, let me show you briefly these cards. They start with a flag, as you can see, because these are the starting cards that they are in the zone of influence of the countries already. Okay. Oh, sorry, no, these are the 2 cards that you have next to your country. So when someone buys from you, instead of you can flip those 2 cards first before spending resources from your own warehouse, because of course you have plans and you want to use them. So that's a great way to balance it out mechanically. And then I should say these are cards. This is also a nice deck. If you're playing with 2 or 3 players, you use this deck which emulates the actions of other players if you were playing a 4-player game, so that the map is continues to be, you know, tense, continues to be populated, and continues to make a challenge. So it's not like, you know, open season or open area for lower than 4 players when you're playing the game. And okay, this is again a reminder of the exports and imports that you can do with the trade action. As you can see, it's different depending on the country. Another aspect linked with the asymmetry of the game. Okay. So, that being said, we have the cards from the different countries that you can have as active or flip them when you interact with them, and when you flip them you need to reactivate them, and you don't reactivate everything at the end of the game. This depends on the focus that you take. So just to show you a bit of the anatomy, in some countries you can build military bases. In some other countries you cannot build military, so the ones that they have the flag, as you can see, are the ones that the countries start with. Okay. Some countries like Cuba, for example, restricts USA from going there and building military bases. So the game, not only it's well designed and the framework is solid and amazing, it's also thematic, it also makes sense, and it also builds around reality of 2010. Okay, and what you would expect from this. Right, now, last thing I want to mention are these cards. And for these cards you can interact. You have 2 cards from each level in the game. So level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 and level 5. And these are really, you know, you pay for them a lot of money and briefcases, but these give you a lot of boosts. So these are, you know, different number of cards, so you have 3 or 2 or 1 depending on, it's also racing to get to the higher numbers. They give you different boosts as a reward, and of course they award you different an amount of victory points as you go higher, more and more. For example, Olympic Games, 18 victory points. Yeah, so that's also within the design of the game. And the last thing I want to show you are the cards of the game. Again, you can see that they are color coded based on if it's, for example, domestic actions that it gives you, it's red. If it's green, that means it's diplomatic actions. If it's orange, it's economic actions, and if it's red, it's military actions. Some of them are starting cards for the players. Okay, so you start with a specific set of cards, and then you can you have a market, and you have more cards that you can buy from using that's another interesting mechanic of the game. You start with 6 cards and you play 4 in a round, and the 2 that you don't play, you use them for coins and research points, which you use to buy other cards, or coins you use to do different things in the game. So the leftover cards are like a mini resource that you get. Now, in terms of I'm just going to go quickly through some of them to show you the amazing art. Amazing art. I really like what I see, and it's also thematic. It ties superbly with in a superb way with the game. Okay. So as you can see, production is top notch. I'm really excited with how the prototype looks. I was excited with the game when I played on Tabletopia, and I always prefer to play the physical game no matter what. So seeing now the advanced prototype, I'm so happy, because I'm telling you right ahead, up ahead, this game is going to be played a lot. Not only from me, from a lot of players across the globe, for a reason. It's fantastic gameplay, it's captivating theme, and it's tension back and forth, and the layers of interaction which dynamically spread in, you know, beyond the obvious from a first session at least, really will captivate you, and they give a fantastic gameplay experience. So there you have it. These are the components of World Order. Mark my words, fantastic game, a must-have. brilliant design, excellent gameplay. This is the unboxing video of the prototype. I'm going to add a link in the description so you can follow up the campaign, and we're going to follow with a new video on how to play, which I'm going to go in a very detailed way of describing the rules, and also at the end share my final first impressions from the game. So many thanks for watching.